Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irresistible and I am a manifestation and soul realignment coach. My channel is geared towards helping you become your highest potential so that you can create and live the extraordinary life that is your birthright. In today's video, I'll be talking about why it's important to not dwell on the past. But before we get started, just a quick reminder that I offer both email and video coaching. So if you need help in manifesting any of your desires or in releasing any of your blocks, you can definitely find all the information in the description below. And of course, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon in order to receive a notification anytime I upload a new video. So let's get started. This video is inspired by a meeting I had yesterday with a client who was focusing on his past decisions, the things that he has done in the past that he feels resulted in him creating losses in his life or missing out on opportunities and so on and so forth. So I thought that I would do this video because I think a lot of people actually are in their critical mind. Because you look back and you say, well, in comparison to other people, maybe my age, I should be doing better. I should have been further along. And so you're automatically going into the self-criticism mode where you're looking at yourself and saying, I could have done better. I should have made other decisions. I should have made better choices. The thing I'd like to emphasize here is there is absolutely no value in regret because you kind of can't do anything about it, right? So you're here today, there's no value in looking back. And I see this a lot with a lot of people. They say, well, I could have done this if I didn't do it, and now I lost time, and now here I am. And then they're kind of in a place of even not being able to move forward because they're questioning their decision-making abilities. It's a lot of 3D thinking, fearful thinking. It's all from the mind, literally. Like your mind is just going around in circles because you're looking back at your mistakes from the past and you're thinking, well, what if I recreate them? So there's actually zero value in going there because you kind of also paralyze yourself in the process. You can't move forward. And any action you're going to be taking from here is not going to get you the results. Here, this is pure 3D action with a fearful mind and a fearful identity where you are self-criticizing. You're saying, I don't make good decisions. I've made bad decisions in the past. How do I know I'm going to make any good decisions in the future? This is going to be impacted. It's going to feel super hard because that's where you're identified, right? This is something I always like to share on my channel. You start from here, and then these will drive this. You don't start from here in order to change this. So if you're someone who says, I don't make good decisions, and then you're going to try to take action to change that, you're working in the opposite direction. You actually need to clean up your mindset around the whole situation by forgetting the past completely. Maybe use it as a bouncing off place. Well, you know what? My past is my contrast. When I say contrast, it means it's showing me what I do not want, right? I do not want to make bad decisions. I want to make good decisions. I do not want to have created losses in my life as a result of my decision. I want gains. I want to make a lot of money. I want to have great, beautiful relationships. I want to thrive. So you focus on what you want. You use the contrast, the negative, to create the positive, to be clear on the positive, that this is my intention. This is what I want. Focus on the end, not on the how. You focus on what it is that you want. And then you affirm that you are the person who makes excellent decisions. I know that even if your mind is telling you, well, no, you didn't do that in the past, you have to quiet that mind. Because in order to shift your identity to someone who makes excellent decisions and who makes profitable decisions and who makes wise decisions, you need to quiet the mind, the thoughts that are opposing that. Because remember, your thoughts are still identified with the old identity. Your conscious thoughts are still a manifestation of your old identity. So if I were to show you an example, identity A is where you are making bad decisions, or you perceive that you have made bad decisions. Because ultimately, the decisions that you're making them based on what you knew in that time, right? And it is through 3D action. Sometimes we're making decisions from a fearful based perspective. We're using our mind. Our mind doesn't know. Our mind only knows the past and what it's seen other people do. So it's past looking, it's not forward looking. And Dr. Joe Dispenza always says you can't create from the past. So your mind, your physical mind only has the past. Your higher mind has a bigger perspective. It can see the future, it can see the possibilities. So you're the person who is in identity A, who's saying, I make bad decisions. And so your actions are going to reflect that. If you're looking in the past, if you're dwelling in the past, your past is not going to help you because you want to create something new, right? So being so identified with the past is going to drive your actions, which are going to cause you to either not take action because you're afraid of repeating the past, or you're going to essentially recreate the past because that's where you're identified. The idea is that you now want to shift to be, where you're no longer the person who made those bad choices. You're the person who is making new choices. I make excellent decisions. You affirm for that. I always know what I need to do when I need to do it. I am always making decisions that will help me forever. Like if you want to look at successful business people, for example, I'm using here business as an example because it's inspired by my session with my client. People who make excellent decisions, they're so identified with the decisions they've made that it naturally comes to them that they always recreate that again and again and again and again. And if you look at, for example, Donald Trump, he's went into bankruptcy and then recreated it all over again because he's so identified with the wealth perspective. That's what he does, that he's a successful businessman. So that's where you work on impressing a new belief around yourself. And meanwhile, you have to stop the criticism of the past because then you're going to stay in A. In order to shift to B, you need to work on changing your identity, claiming a new identity, claiming my intention is that I make excellent decisions and profitable decisions and decisions that always are serving for me forever, not just momentarily. So you shift into that, you choose that, and you choose it, and then you affirm. You can affirm for it. You can choose it and not interact with your opposing thoughts, those that are still identified with the old story. You don't interact with them, you will shift to here, literally. But if you find it hard because your thoughts are a manifestation of your beliefs and they are a manifestation of your identity, that's how it works. You can then decide to work here. So you affirm and affirm and affirm that I make excellent decisions. I always know what I need to do when I need to do it. My decisions always reap me rewards forever. So you kind of need to trust that. And when you affirm for that, then that becomes your new identity. It becomes your new way of being. And then your conscious thoughts start to match that, exactly like the person who's only known success. And that's all they think. They think that, well, I create success. They don't have opposing thoughts. They don't have thoughts that say I'm not successful or I can't be successful. They only align with this. So even if he went bankrupt, he came back and recreated it all, right? So you wanna go back and just identify with what you want. There's no value, zero value in dwelling on the past. There's zero value. And I don't agree with people, well, you learn from the past. No, but you know what? If you're trying to learn in 3D from the past, you're gonna get stuck, because you're going, there's not enough action you can take to make the right decisions. You will still make mistakes. Even if you do all your due diligence, and this is what my client said, I did all the things right, I did all my due diligence, and I still created loss. See, that's the thing. You can't do it from here. You have to do it from here. You have to stop identifying with the person who does not make good decisions. And it's not about 3D action. It's never about physical action. It's about aligning your thoughts with the person who makes excellent decisions, and you stick with it. You don't engage with the opposing thoughts that are basically a manifestation of your habitual, your subconscious, your old identity. You wanna align your thoughts, your conscious thoughts, with your new identity, and you do that through affirmations. And you do that if you resonate with the affirmations. I think it's super powerful to use affirmations, but also with not entertaining those thoughts that are aligned with the old identity. You ask yourself, is this thought aligned with my new identity? Because as the successful business person, a Donald Trump, if you want to look at it that way, I don't know, you can say that I would not be thinking that. I would not be thinking, oh, I'm going to fail. That's not the identity of the person who is successful. The identity of the person who is successful doesn't even have those thoughts. The thoughts that come up are those of success. The eyes are always on the prize. And meanwhile, if they do come up because you were so identified with this one, if they do come up, you don't engage with them, you release them. You affirm. You can actually redirecting them by affirming for the new identity, or you bring yourself back into presence and notice the thoughts and gently release them without any self-criticism. You just don't criticize yourself for having those opposing thoughts, because that's also not helpful. Then you will continue to manifest them if you criticize yourself. So you bring yourself back and say, that's not me, that I'm not going to engage with this. And you do not engage with it. Do not interact with it. Do not try to convince it that it's not true. You may redirect and do affirmations, but if you find it hard, you just release this and say, I'm not going to think about this right now. I don't need to have the answers right now. You just release it. And then I promise you, you will be that person. And then that will be your new reference point. And even when you shift to this, I had another meeting with another client. She was telling me she manifested great work and great progress in her work. She was following her passion and she was doing the work that she absolutely loves. She had paying clients. And then she found herself going back here because of her past. She's done that in the past. She had a thriving career and then she manifested all this trauma where she lost it. I told her, no, that's no longer you. You have to remind yourself that you are in your power and that you have the power to stay here. There's no work or effort to do that. Just remind yourself, no, I'm not, that's the old person. That's not me. Today, I am in my power, and in every moment, you have the power to choose be, where you stay there and you continue to thrive and you continue to grow and you create the career and the passion that you desire to create in your life. B is more instantaneously achieved. You can shift back there instantaneously. So you remind yourself, A is not, that's the old story. I'm not creating that. And there's no effort in me having to do any work so that I'm not identified with that. It's a choice in every moment. In every moment, you have the choice to shift and identify with B. That's how powerful you are. There's no hard work. Just remind yourself. I thought that I would do this video for you to realize that A, There's no value in focusing on the past and regret. You didn't know what you know now. You didn't know what you didn't know. You probably would have done it again if you repeated it all over. So you have to be okay with that, because there's nothing you can do about that. B, use this to create your new identity. This is your opportunity to say, that's not who I am anymore. I am this person and I choose to be that person. And even if you don't have a reference point for that, you will very soon. It will become very natural for you, because you start seeing the manifestations and you're finding that actually there's very little effort in 3D to take action. It becomes, your actions and behaviors become a reflection of your new identity, just like that person who's always been successful and doesn't know otherwise, right? So you're so identified with this that becomes your new way of being. That's your new identity, and you have the full power to stay there. You can never lose it. You can never go back. This stuff, knowing this stuff, you can't ever go back. Just remember that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please like, comment, and share, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.